Do you ever wonder what pro players do to prepare for matches, how they handle nerves and their off-court routines? Well, today I've got something very special for you. We've just been invited to the Asics House in London, where pro players sponsored by the company go to pick up their equipment and hang out during Wimbledon. And I heard that there are two top 20 players on both the men's and the women's side, and a Grand Slam champion who I'll be able to hang out with and interview to hopefully answer those burning questions. So stay tuned. So now on the train to Wimbledon. We gotta get to the place now. It's right next to Wimbledon, so right next to the courts. So about a 10-minute walk from Southfield Station, but nearly there, guys. Famous walk. And there across we have the park where all the tents start getting put up. So when people are queuing up for Wimbledon, they tent over there overnight to then try and get tickets for the next day. I finally made it. What a great setting, and luckily the weather didn't disappoint. I was given a goodie bag with some Asics clothes and their latest shoes, then started making my way through the house. Got Novak shoes here from different generations. Wow, what a place. I then had some breakfast and got myself ready for some action. First, I got stuck into a tennis warm-up as an example of what players will do on court.
Next one we'll go for is high knees. So we'll go high knees to the end. Jog back, okay? How quickly you do it. Get faster, further. Now we've got some heel flips, okay? So nice and high in the bum. Slow it down now, do some dynamic lunges, okay? So we'll do one leg at a time and really try and open the arms up as well. Just wait when doing it, get the arms as far back as possible. Open those shoulders up, right? We'll keep lunging, but this time we're going to rotate over the knees in front. So go right leg forward, rotate over that leg. That's it. Try and keep the head facing forward when you rotate there. That's it. Perfect. So we'll do half forward walking there. Then when you get to the end, try some heel walk on the way back, okay? Rush the process. We'll get the upper body involved now. So the same as the start, we'll do a jog there and jog back. We'll do forward arm rotations, okay? Just then, we'll just finish up the wall with a few stretches through the shoulders.
That wall looked inviting. Took me back to when I started playing tennis. I just couldn't resist. Okay, that didn't go well. Must be the loose strings.
The facial expressions help. Yeah.
The yoga didn't help.
Or maybe it's the bad bounce. Anyway, it was time to get some pro players out there, and I jumped in with former world number 4 Belinda for a little volley session and an interview. Check it out.
I'll join you guys.
Yes, we can do a doubles.
Yeah, I did.
Nice touch.
I didn't.
When
I wasn't.
I train about 4 or 5 hours on the floor.
Yeah, because I pulled out.
And then I do about 1 to 2 hours of
playing an exercise. I thought you'd been seeing this.
yeah, I changed a bit. I have 4 days off.
Yeah.
Practice really like every day.
Oh, really?
When going down to nice drink.
And now sometimes I have a half day off.
Yeah, no,
It's
big. Yeah. Things right.
As the 2 hearings coverage is automatically, but yeah, like the injuries.
Yeah.
Guys, if you haven't done so already, make sure you press that like button, press the subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future lessons. Go on.
Well, maybe we have to play them. Yeah, you never know. Didn't think we quite before, but you feel like it's like all yeah, of course. Don't worry. You have yeah. Use your phone, that's all right. Yeah. Sure. Maybe I can grab my order.
That's months.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Tournaments. It's a lot. And players like especially men's side.
Yeah. Great day.
So like,
Maybe
yeah, I mean, everything.
just say it. You know, now I don't know work.
You know?
Yeah, watch it.
I told her a little bit about top tennis training before she got taken away. So this brings us to the main event as we meet former world number 2 Alex Carecha to hear the importance of mental health in tennis. Then we'll learn habits from Alex de Minaur and his pre-match routines, as well as discover how pro players prepare for matches by Belinda. Then we'll hear from Thomas Johansson, Australian Open champion, on what it's like to coach pro players and the difficulties that coaches face. A lot to get through, so stay tuned.
So welcome to the Asics House of Tennis. This is so important for us this week here. You know, we're preparing for an important tournament, and of course just welcome you all here and just sharing the emotion of the movements, as you said, as you felt here during this morning. And we believe here in Asics that it's very important, you know, to combine the movement, the mind. Do you play tennis? Yeah. Yes, but some of you play, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you know, in Asics we strongly believe that it's very important to find the balance between, you know, as you know, the mind and the body. You know, we don't play just tennis for fun or as a commitment. It's just because it's very good for your mind. You know, I was a professional tennis player for 15 years, and then I reached as high as number 2. I played 2 finals of Roland Garros. I won the ATP Master Final at the end of the year. I won Davis Cup for Spain. I won a bronze medal doubles in Sydney. And you know, I'm pleased to say that I've been working and just being part of the Asics family since so many years. And that's why for me it's like such an honor to be in this beautiful house next to an amazing event coming up. And I hope you're gonna enjoy it. And you know that we believe that the athletes, they need to take care about their mental health as well. And you know, nowadays we see how important it is just to pay attention on that. And we are, I think, in the Asics family, we feel like we are all open to talk about that. You know, I think before it used to be a little bit like, I don't know, some people felt like, oh, if I'm talking that I have like mental issue, they're gonna feel like I'm weak. No, no one is weak. We do believe that we need to be open, and so whatever you want to ask us, the next guests that we're going to have here, that they're very important and you're going to enjoy and you can ask them things. And I think I might introduce them right away because we have a big surprise for you. We have Belinda here with us this morning, that, as you know, she's a gold winner in Tokyo, and she's been winning like 8 tournaments WTA. And also Belinda, welcome. Welcome here.
Thank you.
And you know, she's 14 in the world right now, I believe, in the rankings.
Yeah.
And she's been winning a lot of tournaments this year already, a couple of tournaments, another final. And then she's got some issues. So, how are you doing?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a bit better. I'm really happy I'm here. I struggled a bit after Miami, Charleston. I had some issue in my leg, and then I came back, and then my shoulder started to hurt again. So I got caught up a little bit in the injuries. But I think it helps me a lot to be here, you know, to have this positive vibe again and kind of getting ready for the tournament. And yeah, I'm doing well in rehab and practicing well. So hopefully I'll be ready and fit for the tournament.
By the way, you look unbelievable on this one. You're ready to play, eh? They will give you a wildcard, you might be ready to play? That would be tough, huh? That would be tough. Okay, thank you, Belinda. We will come with you very soon, maybe?
I just sit down.
Yeah, maybe.
Or I go here.
Yes, easier. Okay, so our next guest is someone that played very well last week here in Queens. It's Alex de Minaur. He's ranked number 16 now, and he's also, you know, one of the toughest guys on tour. He's been playing so well, and on grass he loves the conditions. You know, he's from Australia. So Alex de Minaur, please welcome us here in the house. Asics House. How you doing, Alex?
All good, thank you.
Ready after Queens? You recover. Is it tougher to recover mentally or physically after such an important tournament?
I think probably mentally, because you've come from such a high, such a good week, playing some great tennis. So you almost have to try and switch off and relax, and because you've got this big tournament just around the corner that you want to try and go as deep as possible. So. I took a couple of days off and now I'm training back up, and hopefully I'll be ready to go.
For sure you will. And we have someone very important as well, which he won Australia a few years ago, well, some years ago I would say. He's also from my age. I'm 49 years old, even if I look older, but that's many, you know, it's many break points, you know, and a lot of things. If I would have been like maybe serving aces most of the time, I would. But I'm Spanish, you know, so I was running a lot, yeah, from the back of the court. Well, you know a little bit about that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And so we have someone that he's been a player. Now he's coaching. He's been coaching boys, now girls as well. We have Thomas Johansson from Sweden, which he was as high as number 7 in the world. You can see it. I feel more comfortable with playing people here next to me. Thomas, welcome here to the Asics House family.
Thank you.
How is your anima sana and corpore sano? You know, sound mind, sound body. You know that about it. Did you hear about Asics or what it means? Yeah. Anima sana and corpore sano. Yeah. Everybody knows that. It's very important when you go outside here. Thomas.
What's important for us is that as we are getting older, we are in the right sport, because tennis is the sport that you should play if you want to live longer. So I'm happy to be playing this sport. Yeah.
Okay, we are almost 80. We keep on playing.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
So you can have a seat.
Yes.
And then we have a very special guest today that he is going to teach us a lot of things, as we've been saying. Like, it's not just about tennis or physical condition, it's about mental. So I think it's very good to have Brendan Stubbs, which is a mental health expert from King's College, you know, and he's been researching focus on the impact of physical activity and mental health, one of the most cited in his field. So he's someone that he knows a lot about the mental thing and why the benefits of having, you know, the mental for the body. You know, and in my age, I don't know about Thomas, but I do fitness, even if you might not see it, but I do fitness. Just not because of my physical condition. I'm not trying to go to the beach like look the strongest guy, but mentally, if I don't do fitness at least 45-60 minutes a day, I feel like I'm ruined, you know, I feel like I lose my day. So Brendan, please just welcome here. How you doing? Such an honor to have you here.
Nice to be here.
Yes, so we have here some players that they might not reach maybe the biggest tournaments, but I think the importance of what you've been just working on it, you know, just to tell them and to explain them a little bit how important it is for our mind just to do like some fitness and just not to look as strong as you.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. Is you know, having a sort of sound mind and sound body is essential. If we want to perform optimally physically, then we need to be of a sound mind. You know, and conversely, the same is true. Whether we're you know professionally athletes, you know, such as here, or we're just functioning in every day.
Such an important topic. In tennis, we're there alone. Yes, you may have your team watching from the sidelines, but it's your own mind that has to deal with the nerves, the tension, the pressure, and the setbacks. We want to appear like warriors and show no weakness, but in doing so, we often bottle our emotions that limit our ability to perform.
Not make the same mistakes that like I have done in the past. It could be about training, it could be about behavior on the court, it could be about many things. So, and that's why I really like the Asics Tennis Academy, because here I have a chance to talk to coaches all around the world and try to share my experience. So I think this is very important. But all players are different, like you know, Alex. I mean, I'm one of the few coaches that have been both on the men and the women's tour. So I think it's you know, it's a challenge. But I think I've learned how to communicate better, being on the women's tour as well. Because
Do you coach different, the men's and the women's?
yes.
Oh yeah?
Yes, very different.
In which way?
Well, women have a tendency to be a little bit more emotional than the men. So I've been coaching. I was with Caroline Wozniacki for a while. I was with the Greek girl Maria Sakkari for almost 2 years, and now I've been with Sorana Kirstea now since October. And I think with a man you can be a little bit more straight. You could be, and you talk more about the pattern and different points and build up of points and serving patterns and things like this. With the women, it's more about, you know, handling stress, emotion, and feelings on the court. So I think I have improved my skills of communication. Because also when you communicate with women, it's a lot about listening and try to, you know, come up with good tips and good advice.
What can you tell us about that, Belinda? Because you've been researching a lot. And do you feel differences between the men and the women, or you don't make any? You found something there that you can say, oh, we can go here this way with the men, or maybe with the women we should go.
Oh, I think it's important to note that everybody's an individual, and everybody responds and listens differently. I think there are some common characteristics which are different amongst people in terms of communication styles and listening and understanding. And you know, I think most people would find that it's finding what works for you as an individual and a pairing. And you know, tennis is, you know, very you know, intense, you know, dynamic. So very much. But if you're looking at, you know, the benefits of sport and movement, is we see, you know, quite you know, similar benefits for males and females in terms of the mental health benefits, the cognitive benefits, and the physical health benefits. But what I would sort of note is that for women, not only professional women, but also women across the spectrum, is there are a number of different challenges that people, you know, experience across the lifespan, that people may stop engaging in sport and exercise and tennis. And I think it's really important that we all play a role in terms of encouraging and making a safe space for women to be included, supported throughout the course to engage in exercise.
Here we only have professional athletes, but for people that are outside, which is they're not professional, but they really want to feel good, what would you recommend to do, like daily basics or just week, or how would you rate out? Was been doing that research, which I think you can explain us a little bit more.
Yeah, so we've been doing some really great research, you know, generally, and also with Asics. And we wanted to understand that question. So if you're not an elite athlete, if you're an everyday person like me, or you know, most people out there, we know that exercise is good for your mental health and your sort of stress, your confidence, but what's the optimal amount that you can do to sort of get an uplift and a meaningful uplift in how you feel for the day as a one-off? And we did this study in over 1,000 people and in over 25 countries, called the State of Mind Index, and found that 15 minutes and 9 seconds was all it took, you know, across this sort of global study to give a meaningful uplift in people's mental state. You know, so it doesn't need to be that you go and run a marathon or you play tennis for 2 hours. You know, for people who are not athletes engaging in sport, you can get a really meaningful uplift in your mind from just 15 minutes and 9 seconds.
Oh, you know, Belinda, 15 minutes, 9 seconds, you can tell your coach, I'm done, it's enough for the day.
Absolutely, I will tell him that for sure. But no, I completely agree, because I also feel that, you know, sometimes for me, what's good for me is, for example, run. I don't run really to improve my fitness, but just to have a good feeling. Like morning run can like completely change my day. Like I'm so positive mood, and I'm like eating well, I'm like practicing well. I have this like good start of the day, and for me this helps a lot, and I just love to do that, but just, you know, outside of my complete training day. And but now I will remember it just takes 15 minutes, so I don't have to go for a 45 minutes.
No more excuses.
Yes.
Actually, I wanted to do it this morning, but I woke up at 5, so I felt like, okay, those 15 minutes, I don't know. Where do you find the time? Because sometimes people say, I can't, family, then work. When would you recommend? Do you think it should be like because tennis players, maybe you guys are not that, but a bit obsessed, I think. and we are like, oh, we need to do routines and we need to have everything set up. We are a little bit control freaks, I think, most of us, I guess. So if you are like, let's say, we are normal, but in some way we're not normal, in a way.
Yeah.
Like, what would you recommend? Like, to have it like as a routine, or just go with the flow? Like, today I feel like I want to do this, I do it, or put it on an agenda?
Sure. So we've looked at this lots for like your everyday people. Is how can we make this like a meaningful change? And for me, how I frame this is, I wash my face every morning because it's good hygiene. I brush my teeth; it's really good for my health. So for me, going to do a brief bit of exercise and movement is that non-negotiable for me. And we see that people who set out to form a habit and continue to do so are much more likely to continue it for the long term. So we want to encourage a positive relationship with exercise, sport and movement for the long term, and not just a phase for like a 4-week boot camp. It's really about having a healthy, lifelong relationship so you can experience the long-term benefits in the mind and body. So setting aside a routine and getting into sort of that habit formation is really key for all of us whenever you're introducing a new habit, because most people are not active anywhere near enough.
Habits are so important, giving you routine and your day structure to do the things that make you happy.
For me, breakfast is always a very important part of the day, so I try to make sure I get my coffee in the morning that I need for sure. And then whenever I go out to the practice courts, I always like to, I have about 30 to 45 minute long kind of warm up, which is kind of waking up the body. It's not too intense, but it's kind of in my mind what I do to know that I'm about to start my day properly. So that consists of, maybe rolling the legs over on the bike, doing some stretches, a bit of a core, and then finishing up with some dynamic movement. And then that's kind of my morning routine before I start, and I make sure I have a good practice or I have a good day. Now, match days, I like to, normally if I have a match in the afternoon, for me it's very important in the morning to either have myself a nice walk or make sure I don't stay on the couch all day. I want to make sure that I'm kind of going outside, getting a bit of fresh air, making sure my mental state is nice and relaxed. Because sometimes when you're kind of staying in a couch all day long, you can feel quite, stressed, a little bit on edge. And for me, it's just having that nice, relaxing walk, jog, whatever it does for you, but to make sure you're in the best possible mindset to go out there and perform. So that's my routines, at least.
And you, Belinda?
Yeah, with me it's a little bit different. I really like to do my morning run or walk. I like to do that before breakfast, and then I can start my day with breakfast. And also a training day is the same like you, just coming to practice 45 minutes before, doing all your warm-up routines, your stretches, your mobilization, and physio work and all the exercises you have to do, and before you get to the court. And then it's also a good start of the day, some lunch, practice again, and then finish up with some physio, massage, and some time for yourself. I'm really a morning person, to say, so in the evening I'm really like just relaxing, not doing much. I kind of get up early and try to do everything in the morning. It helps me a lot. But also it's a bit different when there's a night match or a match later. I feel the same like you. I have to do something, get up and get the body going. I feel really, like you said, on the couch on edge, and you just, you start to think a lot about the match. I think when you keep yourself busy, but you do something relaxing, like active recovery and everything, I feel very ready for the match, and kind of in a good mental state as well. So I agree with you.
What I've found for me personally is that whenever I'm playing a tournament and I take my time off to do different things, whether for me it's going out to dinner, with the team, going to restaurants, walking places, feeling like a normal human being, and I do those types of activities is when I feel the most calm and relaxed. and I end up performing better on the tennis court. So recently I've given it a lot more thought, and kind of it's way more important for me to make sure whenever I've got a little bit of time to do something different. You know, last week I was I guess fortunate. I played my matches in the morning, so I had the whole afternoon off. So I would just go over to. I went to driving range one afternoon. I went shopping the other afternoon. I went to dinners. It was just getting myself not thinking about tennis, which is probably the most important thing for me.
Very interesting to hear about the importance of switching off, even just for 15 minutes, and what effect it can have on your well-being. But what else can we be switching off from?
And sorry, can I take this for a second?
Yeah, go for it.
How dangerous is this? If you are the whole morning in the couch and you're not playing till night, and you're just watching, oh, we're just recording. Hey, hola, ¿cómo estás?
I mean, so I think it's like all things, it can be used for good, and it can be used as something which is you get into a trance and you can't get away from, or it becomes like a bit too much of an ingrained habit. And whenever we're doing anything, you know, whether we're looking at our phone or talking or, you know, looking outside, our brain is continuing to be remodeled and rewired. So when we're using our phone or we're engaged in a scrolling mechanism, as our brain's continuing to sort of rewire us, and it's sort of ingraining a bit of a habit. So, you know, yes, on average, it can be good, you know, used in moderate amounts, but, you know, excessive use is probably not good. But again, some people may be outside of what we'd consider the averages and may find it helpful. I mean, I don't know what, you know, yourselves find.
I mean, yeah, for me it's also a difficult balance to find. I definitely feel like when I'm too much on my phone, sometimes you get caught up. You know, you have your commitments and posting, social media. Sometimes you are reading like Twitter, and for me, especially during a tournament, it's a distraction. So I learned, I think, over the years now, when it's really important and I feel more stressed, I just feel like putting my phone on the side. And for example, really during the Olympics, that's the first time I did that. I just turned off my phone. I got messages, I got like different, you know, opinions from outside, which all affected my.
And you, Thomas, how do you? I mean, now that you are more like a coach, not a player anymore.
Yeah.
Do you control, in a way, your players, or you let them do it, or you are like, hey, leave the phone away, or because you might do that at home with your kids.
Yeah, well, I have 2 kids as well,
Yeah.
so the phone is a battle every day. But like you said, I think all players are different, and I've been fortunate to coach 6-7 players. They're all different with phones, how they prepare. Some players, they even like to have a small nap before they go on the court. So I think there is not one right way of doing it. I think you have to, you know, have an open discussion. For me as a coach, I always speak to my player. I say, so how do you normally prepare? How do you practice? How long time? What do you eat? How do you sleep? How is it with the phone? So I think some players, they take care of it themselves. If you coach a young player, it's almost like you have to be a dad again. You really have to monitor everything. How they sleep. Now you have, I don't know if you have, but you know, you have this, you have the Apple Watch, you have the Whoops. You can, as a coach also, you can check recovery, you can check sleep.
You do that?
Yeah.
Oh.
So
College?
Well, it depends on which player you coach. This is what I'm saying. So, like I said, most of the time, the younger ones you have to monitor a little bit more. The older ones, more experienced ones, they handle it themselves. But it's like I said, there's no one right way of doing it, I think. But
and to finish, because they need to go, but maybe would you? I don't know. We can say you can tell them some tips to the players, like to. I don't know, to be focused on what they need to do, like next week they're going to start an important tournament, or it's, as Thomas is saying, just, of course, it depends on the player. And you might need a lot of hours to know them better, to give them tips, but
Yeah.
since Thomas is talking, and I feel so much pressure because you're next to him, you know, and I'm like, well, he's listening to him, he might be saying something wrong, you know?
No, not at all. I mean, I think you're the experts, and, you know, I've just studied people, so it's great to learn, but I think the key thing that's come around from me, from talking to lots of professional athletes, hearing you talk and talking to lots of other people, is find out what works for you. You know, there's no sort of standard prescription of, you know, you should do this on match day, you should do that on match day. And what I'm hearing, again, is my experience of working with different types of professional athletes, other people, is, you know, really find what works with you, but sort of downtime is really important for people, having like a routine and having like a structure. And there's some familiarity and comfort, you know, people find in having a structure within that. And I think, you know, if we spent, you know, a tenth of the time preparing our mind as we did with our body, you know, as athletes or competitors, then people would be in a lot stronger position, because there's no doubt all of you and, you know, everyone competing is phenomenal, like physical athletes, but, you know, a tenth of that time towards the mental preparation would go a long way. So, you know, I think find what works for you, you know, and incorporate that root philosophy of sound mind, sound body. You know, one cannot function without the other, and to perform optimally, you know, is very much, you know, key. So I think those would be my brief tips.
Well, now you're going to be lucky enough that you might hit some balls into the wall. Well, the wall is not too big, so just place a target well, okay? Don't hit the balls at the other angle.
He's already coaching you.
Yeah. Sorry. I should let them just do themselves. But we're going to walk there. But I really like to thank you for being here, for listening to them, and of course to us. And to you, Belinda and Alex, especially, thank you so much for being here at the Asics House family, because we know as former players that anytime they say, oh, you need to do this, sometimes it's like, oh, I need to do this. So hopefully we're trying to make it as simple as possible, you know, as closer as possible. We cannot build a house inside the venue, but almost
just jump the fence to the practice.
But we do appreciate being here, you know, and you need to continue with your routines, and of course Thomas as well, because you're a coach, but you need to have everything almost under control. And to Brendan as well for your time and for you, what you've been doing with Asics is very important for us to know better the things and to give people the, you know, all the insights that are very important to continue having a better life. And I think if we all try to be a better human being, I think the world would be better, you know, because just not to think about yourself all the time. I think it's also important, you know. And you are players, and it's difficult to understand at the moment that you are playing, but I think you're such a great people, and we'd like to thank you. So thank you so much for your time.
So this sadly brings me to the end of part 1 of this video. In part 2, I got into a discussion with former Grand Slam champion Thomas Johansson and a sports psychologist Brendan Stubbs on how to get more mentally strong on the tennis court as both tennis players and coaches. So look out for that video next.